Yo, it's your boy DZ, man. You already know. It's not about the setback. It's about the get back. I appreciate everybody that watches the channel. I thank y'all. Hey, man, we're going to talk about a guy from Cleveland. He was convicted of a quadruple homicide. And they said it was over some drugs in the street, and that the guy had some beef with some people, and he went to go find these people. And it's alleged that when he found the people, it was other people there, and he slaughtered the whole house, man. He literally slaughtered the whole house. This is what they saying. But he's saying he didn't do it. And he went to trial. He does have appeal rights. But they said it was DNA evidence linking him to the gun. So, with that being said I don't know.
New developments in the trial against Terrell Silver. A forensic scientist says DNA evidence links the defendant to the alleged murder weapon. Matt Rascone has been on this trial since day one. What stood out to you today, Matt?
Yeah, Christy, I think it was the shift in the prosecution's approach. So in the first 3 days, Terrell Silver's name was mentioned off and on, but the prosecution's case largely focused on the victims and how they died, the evidence officers recovered, and the alleged murder weapon. Well, today, it seemed to be all about connecting the crime back to Silver.
In December 2019, just a few months after the victims were murdered, Silver was arrested for an unrelated crime. His cellmate at the time took the stand today.
What's going on, brother?
Didn't allow us to record, but the cellmate testified that Silver confided in him that he killed four people. The cellmate says Silver told him he was involved in a drug deal with two men who Silver claimed tried to shoot him. He claims Silver then went looking for the men after the deal, searching several houses, and then shot and killed them along with two women. He also said Silver told him he melted down the murder weapon, which conflicts with the prosecution's argument that the murder weapon was recovered at a separate shooting 10 months later. Today, that gun was back in the spotlight. Again, the court didn't let us record the testimony, but a DNA analyst said they tested DNA evidence on the firearm, and the findings pointed back to Silver.
So that DNA evidence linked the gun to multiple people, but it was much greater for Silver. The defense questioned the integrity of the DNA testing. They also argued Silver's former cellmate only testified in this case to get out of his remaining probation. Christy, the trial will pick.
And that's how it happens, though. When you got a cellmate in your cell, if you think you're going to confide in the cellmate and tell them your personal business, they will use that information to get out on you. And they said that he was locked up for another charge, and he started talking to his cellie. And it could be that he spoke to his cellie, or it could be that he didn't. But we don't know. But the cellie did give out some information, but at the same time, he said that the gun was melted down, and they found the gun months later. So we don't know. But what we do know is he got convicted of quadruple murder, and he received life sentences for that. And I'm gonna play what he said in the courtroom when he got sentenced. He said that he wasn't guilty. He said he wasn't guilty. I didn't do this crime, so I don't have any remorse. But I do feel sorry for the victims. And the judge said it was like overwhelming, the testimony that was given against him, I guess from the cellmate, identifying what happened. So it really didn't look too good for him. I'm going to be honest. It didn't look too good for him. Yeah, it didn't look too good for him. Hold up. Oh, what's this right here? Hold up.
You have destroyed 4 families and 5 lives. And for what? I will never be the same. I have not been the same. I have to take anxiety medicine. Sometimes I eat, sometimes I don't. The one thing that keeps me a little bit of peace is that my daughter, Ayana Denise Quitman, did know Jesus. And my daughter was baptized. So I know who she'll see again, and I know who I will see her again. But sir, you will see no one again. It is sad. It is so sad. I had things written down to say, Your Honor. I don't even know where that is. I had things in my heart to say, but I just can't.
I understand.
On a daily basis, if I don't reach my youngest daughter on the phone, I am blowing her phone up because now I'm in a constant panic that something is going to happen to her, and it's unfair to her. It is unfair to her. But Your Honor, I ask for one request. On every one of the kids' life that he took, that you take a picture with them before the murder and a picture of how they were found, and on each birthday of the victims, put the young man in solitary confinement with the pictures posted there. Because the whole time we were here and we had to see how our babies looked when they were found, we had to look at people laughing. Wasn't nothing funny to us. Those were our babies. And it was disrespectful. It's not a joke that our babies are gone. And I will never, ever get over that.
Yeah. They are upset about that. That's their family members, and she spoke out. Now he's saying that he didn't do it. It's the wrong person. And his case stemmed from his cellmate. His cellmate coming forward and saying that he committed these crimes. The cellmate is saying he committed these crimes, and I guess he gave some great detail about the crime. So the jury believed him. The jury believed him. And he was found guilty. Yeah, he was found guilty, and the judge gave him life on everything. The judge gave him life on everything. And we're going to listen to him in a second. Explain that he didn't do it. We're going to listen to what he said. He said he didn't do it. He said they got the wrong guy.
Indicating to these families that we are sorry for their loss, that this is a tragedy. As the court's aware, Mr. Silver also has a family. He has a daughter, a mother, brothers, and he's a high school graduate. He graduated from Glenville, played football there. Your Honor, throughout this process, he has maintained his innocence. We would ask the court respectfully to appoint appellate counsel. We'd ask the court to order the transcript at the state's expense. We'd ask the court to recognize that he's been incarcerated now throughout this process and that he's indigent, we'd ask the court to suspend any court costs. Your Honor, in addition, we would ask the court respectfully to run these counts concurrent and to give him an opportunity at parole. Parole would give an opportunity for him while he's in prison to have an incentive and hope moving forward. And that's definitely a consideration for the community and for this honorable court. Your Honor, in addition, we'd ask the court as a matter of housekeeping to note our objection to the Reagan-Tokes law. And thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Silver, anything you'd like to add?
Yes. I would like to start by addressing the surviving family members of the victims. From the top to the bottom of my heart, I sincerely send my condolences. I can't and I will not apologize for these charges or allegations. I'm not responsible for them. I did not kill those people or anyone else for that matter. But what I will apologize to you for is for everything you've all been through throughout this process. No parent should have to bury their child. I'm a father myself. I have an 8-year-old daughter. No family member and no friend should have to experience their loved ones being discovered in the state of decomposition that they were found in. I would also like to apologize for you all having to grieve this situation all over again. Due to the fact that all wounds had to be reopened, based on the fact that this prosecutor felt like he had the person responsible for these murders. Furthermore, he has a duty to get a conviction. None of this was about justice. I truly don't feel none of this is about justice due to the fact that I'm not responsible for these crimes. Furthermore, due to you having a duty to get a conviction, I'm all for that, but what about getting a conviction right? This is a perfect example to demonstrate to you all that this is not about justice. First and foremost, I did not commit any of these crimes. Second, we've heard under oath testimony that this prosecutor, Mr. Kevin Leandro, broke the law to secure conviction under revised code 2921.04 by harassing, threatening victims / witnesses, coercing and intimidating them to come testify. I quote, I'm telling somebody I don't even know who I'm telling on. This is a great big misrepresentation of our judicial system, more specifically according to the Ohio Rules of Professional Conduct, Rule 8.4.
Mr. Silver,
Yes.
you're not an attorney, and
I don't need to be an attorney.
hold on. Here's the thing: you can make a statement, and you can also file an appeal. However, a subpoena that he enforced is a court order to appear, and a court order to appear, though the witness and yourself did not like the manner in which this person was brought to court, is within the bounds of the law.
So you're speaking for him?
No, what I'm saying is that that is a court order. It is a court order for him to appear. So he's allowed to use the power of the police to go and pick up a witness pursuant to a court order. I'm not speaking for him. I am speaking for the power of the court of the subpoena, of a subpoena power of this court. And the other thing is that your attorneys also have the power of subpoena, the same as the state does. And I explained this to you in your constitutional rights. If they had wanted a witness here, every defendant in this country has the same right to use the power of the court to issue subpoenas and use that same power to bring witnesses to court. So whether you did it or he did it, it's appropriate and it's proper to bring people to court so that justice can be done. And whatever that justice outcome is what it is based upon the evidence and the credibility of the witnesses. Go ahead.
You're done?
I am done.
So you do believe that we all have equal protection of
I'm
law?
not answering your questions. I am
It's
listening.
constitutional, right?
I'm not answering your questions right now, sir. I'm listening to your impact statement, or your
Okay.
statement.
Okay. As I was stating, the Ohio Rules of Professional Conduct, Rule 8.4, prosecutors are advised and required to refrain from dishonesty, fraud, deceit, or misrepresentation pertaining to the rule or the overall judicial system itself. Sure, you can subpoena somebody to come to court, but texting and threatening them to come to court on something they should be willing to come tell, you shouldn't have to do. You shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do that.
Mr. James, the witness that you're referring to, ended up crying on the stand.
Excuse me?
He was crying on the stand.
Who?
The witness that he had brought to court, had forced to bring to court. This person did not want to testify.
On
And
somebody he didn't know who he was testifying on.
he ended up telling it. However, he did it while he was crying. He was reluctant to do so. I can speculate as to why. Probably because he was in fear. But the credibility of the witnesses in this case, I can tell you, the jury found was profound. They deliberated for an hour and a half. The rest of the time it took them just to sign those jury verdicts. They believed the evidence in this case, and they asked themselves, do we believe the witnesses? And they went around and they said yes. Anybody listening to those two witnesses, in particular, I myself, because I also had to listen to the testimony for the court counts, those were credible witnesses, particularly Mr. Collins, who could not have known the level of detail less than 6 months after the murder, could not have been able to relay that level of detail that only the person committing the crime would have known. He would not have been able to deliver that to authorities without the person who had committed the crime knowing and being there. That is why
he was talking to his
the jury
cellie.
believed those witnesses.
He messed that one up.
Anything else?
Cost him.
That's why they believe it or you believe it.
I also had to consider the counts. There was counts tried to the court, but that's what the jury relayed to me after this case. And I also had to consider the evidence in this case. And I was here and I sat next to these witnesses and I listened to them. And I'll just add on that Mr. Collins found what you had told him so depraved and such a burden on his conscience. First, he was scared for himself while in his cell, but one thing that he said to the effect of the reasons why he wanted to come and testify and why he gave that information was because he couldn't go on living knowing that the devil was out there. That's how he felt about this. And that's what he testified to. His motivations for coming here were purely to make sure that justice was done and to make sure that nobody else would be harmed by somebody who could commit such an action, particularly that was weighing on him, that as a coincidence, he knew one of the victims and wanted to make sure that justice was sought. And for this type of crime, with this many victims and this many bullets that were fired, how many times somebody had to pull the trigger? You had to pull the trigger. And then to cover up your crime, although I do believe that you weren't possibly expecting to see the other two women, but to leave no witness and knowing, being able to see that Ms. Lawson was visibly pregnant, and the testimony that she mentioned that she shouted that she was pregnant and you took her life anyway, weighed so heavily on this witness. And the jury found that the evidence matched up and the credibility of the witnesses only at the time, less than 6 months after the murder, The only person who could have been able to relay that type of information with that type of detail was the killer. And that killer was you. That is what the jury found, and that is what I'm sentencing on. Anything else before I impose sentence?
If I could respond to one thing, Judge, the defendant has filed a motion to dismiss. This court has read it. It's what he's been talking about. I'll just say this. I got that motion on Friday, and I immediately sent the entirety of all the text messages to his lawyers, and as you can see, they're not saying anything about them. There's nothing improper about any text message I sent to Reuben James or anybody else, and the record is out there. I think he's probably been reading from it here.
I don't have it.
Lawyers do. So that's it, Judge. Thank you.
Your Honor, we received that Sunday night, and that's going to be a decision and a judgment for another day. We're here to address this.
I think he's addressing it because your client brought it up.
Well, understood, but the manner in which he's addressing it is what I'm addressing, Your Honor, respectfully.
Okay.
I just want the record to be clear.
Yeah, first, it's a pro se motion, and secondly, I'll try to merit it in. Okay. So I have considered the facts in this case. I've also gone over your criminal record. Also, by coincidence, you were randomly assigned to this court. I had previously sentenced you to prison in 2 other cases. So I am familiar with your criminal history, which is essentially guns and drugs. I've considered the purposes and principles of sentencing. You had for street disrespect, you had hunted down and had to go through multiple abandoned houses to hunt down these 2 young men. And you did it in a manner and at a time when, and the evidence bears this out, that they would be unlikely to defend themselves, meaning that they were found in a state of undress, blankets over them, in possibly a time when they were sleeping. You carried out the executions of the 2 men, and when you saw the 2 women there, you decided, I'm not going to leave any witnesses. And even knowing that one visibly was pregnant and also pleaded with you, stating that she was pregnant, you decided to take both of their lives in order to hide your crime. You killed 4 people and an unborn baby. And the amount of shell casings that were found indicates the level of your resolve to make sure that they were dead and how many bullets were fired into their bodies. This is nothing short of a mass shooting. The sentence will be as follows. For counts 1, 3, 7, 9, and 10, for the aggravated murder of Dejan Willis, Christopher Monroe, Ayanna Quitman, Jasmine Lawson, and Jasmine Lawson's unborn, I'm ordering a sentence of life without the possibility of parole. For count 16, I'm aggravated burglary, 10 years in prison. Count 28, the attempted murder of Mr. Reuben James, that's 11 years in prison. For the having weapons under disability, as I previously stated, this is 2 additional times that you have used and had a gun. That's 36 months for each of those counts. For counts 1, 7, and 28, I am imposing the 54-month firearm specifications. Those will all run consecutive to one another. Except for count 16, all counts will run consecutive to one another. I am imposing consecutive sentences, finding that the consecutive prison terms are necessary to punish you and protect the public from future crime. You've already demonstrated through your criminal history that you live by the gun. You had multiple gun-related convictions, including drug convictions, robbery, and protect the public from future crime. The consecutive sentences are not disproportionate to the seriousness of your conduct and to the danger that you pose to the public. And I'm specifically saying your conduct. I can tell you that the jury focused solely on the evidence in this case and the credibility of the witnesses. They were very good.
Kirk said, "Free the brother." He said he ain't do it.
Separating the images that they saw and focusing on the evidence. And my sentence here today is based solely on your conduct. The fact that they were found 2 weeks later in that state, while horrendous,
hey, Kirk,
is not a factor in my sentence. I'm finding that one or more of the that two or more of the offenses were part of one or more courses of conduct, and the harm caused is so great or unusual that no single prison term would adequately reflect the seriousness of the conduct. So you specifically went out and hunted these 2 young men. Then to cover up your crimes, you killed 2 young women, one of which was pregnant. And then when somebody tried to call the police to let them know that the person that they thought was responsible for this crime, you then shot at him in order to again escape any responsibility for this. And then lastly, your criminal history demonstrates that consecutive sentences are necessary to protect the public from future crime by you. The sentence then, adding that all up, the 13 years and 6 months of mandatory consecutive firearm specifications will be served prior and consecutive to 17 years to 22 and a half years on the underlying offenses, which is 30 years and 6 months to 36 years prior and consecutive to 5 terms of life without the possibility of parole.
damn, you got 5 life sentences.
I'm going to go over because there's a life without the possibility of parole. I do not believe that I have to inform him of the SB 201. Is that accurate?
No objection.
Okay. The violent offender database.
No objection.
Okay, I'm going to skip that. Sir, you are ordered to be remanded. However, you will not be sent to Lorraine Correctional at this time because you do have another pending case that we do need to resolve. I'm going to explain to you your appellate rights. You have the right to an appeal of your case within 30 days after the filing of the court sentencing entry. If you are unable to pay for the cost of the transcript, the record, and all relevant documents required for the appeal, they would be provided to you without cost. If you are unable
Took all
to
the
pay
life
for an
out of
appeal,
it.
you are entitled to have notice
Took
of the
all the
appeal
life out
filed
of it.
without the payment of a filing fee. If you are unable to obtain counsel for an appeal, counsel will be appointed for you at no cost. Do you understand these rights?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to impose the court costs and fees. You have a very long time in prison with which you can pay them, and every single time that your commissary has its funds deducted to pay off these court costs and fees, you should
They
be
gonna
reminded
take his
of
money
the harm that you caused
out the
and
commissary.
the expense, and the ripple effect
Anybody
your
that sends
actions
him
cause,
money
not only for the
is
family
going
members,
to his
but
fine.
also of this community. So you are
Yeah.
to be remanded. However, you'll stay here pending resolution of your second case. Anything else for the record?
Whoa.
No, Judge, thank you.
Your Honor, we would just ask the court to note our objection to the consecutive sentences. We would ask the court respectfully to appoint appellate counsel and to order the transcript at the state's expense, and respectfully ask the court to reconsider the court cost as Mr. Silver is indigent. Thank you.
He does have the ability to pay. There's also the opportunity for work service, community work service within the prison. Your objections are noted for the record, and I will order a transcript at the state's expense as well as appoint appellate counsel. Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, man. They saying they gonna take his commissary money to pay the fines. people don't be thinking though. I hope the brother didn't do it and he get it back on the appeal. But if he did do it and he just got these life sentences, it's going to be a lot of time to reflect on what happened, man. Oh, man. Yeah. And the judge, she see that he didn't have no remorse, so she didn't care. And, you know, in these situations here, it's a murder case. When it's a murder case and you get found guilty of a murder, they're not going to have no leniency on you anyway, honestly. They don't care. You've been found guilty. And we all know that the system doesn't play fair. So, like they said, I'm sure the prosecutors were playing dirty. And, you know, they was threatening the witnesses, as he said. And I guess the person that testified, he said didn't know who he was supposed to be testifying on. But they're saying that he told his cellie the entire case. They're saying that he told the cellie how the crime happened. And the cellie came in there detailing it to the court. And the court saying that nobody else would have knew but the killer. And the thing, though, what might be good on his behalf is that the cellie said he burned down the firearm, that he melted it down. And somehow they found the firearm. So that might play in his favor. Being as though that cellie said that he burnt the firearm, he melted it down, and the firearm was recovered. So that might play in his favor, honestly. But you got to pay attention, man. Like, watch these guys. These are the people that you got to watch to keep yourself out of that BS. Yeah, these are the guys you got to watch, man. And,
Okay, will the defendant please stand? I'm going to read each count. In the case of State of Ohio versus Terrell Silver, count 1, aggravated murder as it relates to Mr. John DeMar Willis. We, the verdict in this case, do find the defendant guilty of aggravated murder and is signed by all 12 jurors. Firearm specifications, the jury found that the state did prove beyond a reasonable doubt. As it relates to count 2, aggravated murder, prior calculation and design regarding victim ion equipment, the jury finds the defendant not guilty. Count 3, aggravated murder, as it relates to the death of Christopher Monroe, prior calculation and design, the jury finds the defendant guilty with the 2 firearm specifications. As it relates to count number 4, victim Jasmine Lawson, we, the jury, find the defendant Terrell Silver not guilty of aggravated murder.
okay.
Count 5, aggravated murder.
So I'm glad I should have played this before, because he beat some of them.
Unlawful termination of Jasmine Lawson's pregnancy. The jury finds the defendant not guilty. Count 6, aggravated murder related to the...
Oh, he might got a shot. He might got a shot.
The jury finds the defendant guilty.
Yeah, he might got a shot.
Firearm specifications. Count 7, relating to the aggravated murder regarding victim misequipment. The jury finds the defendant guilty with firearm specifications. Count 8, aggravated murder relating to the death of victim Monroe regarding the aggravated burglary. The jury finds the defendant guilty with all specifications. Count 9, aggravated murder, causing the death of, purposely causing the death of victim Jasmine Lawson with the aggravated burglary. Jury finds the defendant guilty with firearm specifications. Aggravated murder, count 10, regarding Jasmine Lawson's pregnancy. The jury finds the defendant guilty with the specifications. For aggravated burglary, counts 16, the jury finds the defendant guilty with all specifications. For count 20, murder, as it relates to victim Willis and to wit felonious assault, For counts 20, 21 relating to victim Quitman, 22 relating to victim Monroe, 23 relating to victim Lawson murder, to wit felonious assault causing the death. The jury finds the defendant guilty on all of those counts, including the firearm specifications. In count 24, again, felonious assault did knowingly cause serious physical harm to victim Willis, Quitman, Monroe, and Lawson. The jury finds the defendant guilty on counts 24 through 27, along with the specifications. Count 28, attempted murder of victim Reuben James. The jury finds the defendant guilty with all the specifications. For count 29, felonious assault relating to victim Reuben James, the jury finds the defendant guilty with all specifications. Did either party wish to poll the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to ask each individual juror if this is your verdict. Juror number 1, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 2, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 3, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 4, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 5, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 7, is this your verdict?
Yes.
7, excuse me.
Yes.
Juror number 8, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 9, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 10, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 11, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 12, is this your verdict?
Yes.
All right.
Judge, you can skip juror number 6.
I did. Okay. Juror number 6, is this your verdict?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much for your service. I'm going to ask that you go back into the jury room and wait for me. All rise for the jury. Okay, please be seated. As it relates to counts 18 and 30, count 18 charged having weapons under disability for the time period of September 7th, 2019 through September 21st, 2019, and count 30 having weapons under disability for October 1st, 2019. The underlying case number that would cause the disability is CR 06479012, which was a stipulated journal entry. Would anybody like to be heard further?
Not at this time, Your Honor. No, Judge.
Those 2 counts were tried to the bench. I have independently reviewed the evidence and also am finding the defendant guilty of counts 18 and 30.
Yeah. Brother, I hope he didn't do it and he gets to get another trial and get back, but I don't know. I don't know, man. When you got a cellie in your cell, you definitely don't talk to him about your case. You never try to explain to him anything about your case. And people do it over and over. They get in there with the cellie and talk to the cellie, you know, because the cellie might be in there for some street charges and you feel that he can relate to you. And every time, you got to know they want to get out of jail too. So if they know that they offered to get out of jail and get their charges thrown out to talk on you, even if it's not the truth, they'll do it. And in his situation, if he did talk to the cellie, that was real dumb on his behalf. Because I guess they didn't have no connection with him and the murders. But with the cellie, it connected him. And the jury found him guilty off of that testimony alone, I guess, and them saying that his fingerprints was on the gun. But it was multiple fingerprints on the gun. So it wasn't just his fingerprints. He was just one of the people that touched the gun. And sometimes I think that stuff is manipulated to a certain extent. And that's my opinion, because they just found his DNA on there months later after the gun was found somewhere else. And it's like, man. Some of the things you already know, they hype it up. And, you know, when they want to get a conviction, that's all it's about. They not worried about if you innocent. That's the one thing they not worried about. They don't care if you innocent. When they trying to get a conviction, that's all they want. You guilty in their eyes. And they're going to do what they got to do to get the conviction, to secure it. And this happens all over the country. And he got appeal rights, so hopefully he's doing his research in there to try to appeal the conviction. If he didn't do it, hopefully he gets it back. But that was 4 people that was killed and a baby. So, you know, there's some families that's suffering over that right now. It's some families that really feel some type of way because they lost their loved ones. And they never gonna see the loved ones again. Yeah. So, you know, the other side is feeling it. And they gotta sit there and look at this man in court that supposedly took the life of their loved ones. And he's saying he didn't do it. So, you know, we don't know for real. This is life, man. You never know when you're going to go, but nobody wants to go in that manner. They said 4 people was killed, and one was a girl that was pregnant. And I guess she said, no, don't shoot me, before she got shot. I'm pregnant. And whoever did the killing, they killed everybody in the house. And I think they were in an abandoned house. So he tracked them down. Allegedly, that's what they say. He tracked them down. And he was supposed to be looking for these 2 guys. And he found the 2 guys, but the girls was with him. This is what they saying. And they saying that they didn't want to leave any witnesses. So, man. It's a messed up situation. It is a messed up situation. And let me see. Yeah, it was a messed up situation. Let me see.
Bodies on the 3rd.
Day 2 in the trial against the man accused of a quadruple homicide at a home in Cleveland in 2019. And we want to warn you, some of the details in the testimony that was in court today are disturbing.
I'd like to turn your attention, please, to September 21st of 2019.
On that day, Cleveland police got an anonymous call of a possible dead body inside a home at East 144th and Kinsman Road. Officers responded and found 4 bodies on the 3rd floor. Today, attorneys spent hours questioning detectives and a forensic scientist who worked on the case. Prosecutors took the jury through every piece of evidence detectives recovered, including clothing, gun casings, phones, drugs, and a purse. It was clear the bodies had been there a while.
Yes, on the upper portion of her body, like her torso area, it was advanced stages of decomposition and very little skin to be seen, yes.
The victims are 23-year-old Chris Monroe, 20-year-old Dejon Willis, 19-year-old Ayanna Quitman, and 18-year-old Jasmine Lawson, who was pregnant. Prosecutors argue evidence recovered at the scene ultimately led them to Terrell Silver. Silver's attorneys claim they have the wrong man.
The trial will resume first thing tomorrow morning. Coming up at 5, we'll talk about who made that initial call to police.
Yeah. His lawyers say they got the wrong man. And he's maintained his innocence throughout the whole trial. And you know, you are innocent until proven guilty. They did find him guilty, but there is an appeal process. So we're going to see how that process goes. We are going to see how that process goes. Let me see here what they say with this one here.
People back in 2019. Their bodies were found days later inside a Cleveland home. Here's Matt Rascone.
From the moment authorities discovered the bodies in Cleveland in September 2019,
some cases come together very easy.
This was a difficult case for police and prosecutors to piece together.
This is a situation where really nobody knew who had done it. We didn't have any of this normal evidence that would be so obvious.
Not only because of the lack of initial evidence, but because of the amount of loss. 23-year-old Christopher Monroe, 20-year-old DeJuan Willis, 19-year-old Ayanna Quitman, and 18-year-old Jasmine Lawson, who was 5.5 months pregnant. Her unborn baby didn't make it.
You had to go in there and kill all 4 people and just leave them like that. What could he have did so wrong?
It took more than 3 years, but in April 2023, then 34-year-old Terrell Silver was indicted on several charges, including 15 counts of aggravated murder. An investigation linked Silver to the crime using DNA and gun tool mark evidence from the scene. Prosecutors say Silver went inside the home and shot the victims as they lay on 2 mattresses. Officials said they believe their bodies weren't discovered until roughly 2 weeks later.
Silver is also charged with aggravated robbery and tampering with evidence. He has a lengthy criminal history dating back to 2006. Jury selection wrapped up today. Opening statements are set to begin Monday, Jay.
All right, I'm sure we'll follow it every step of the way. Matt Rascone.
Yeah. So he went all the way to trial with it. And he was found guilty. But he still has the appeal process. And that's something that he's going to have to do. But he said he didn't do it. And he's standing on it. He's fighting it. Honestly, he has no other choice. Because this is a quadruple murder. 4 people killed and a baby. So, he got life. He didn't get the death penalty. And, like they said, they didn't have no evidence linking exactly him to the crime. They took the word of his cellie. So, if he did talk to his cellie, I know he's kicking his self in the butt right now. Yeah. And the cellie felt like he had to tell the information. Like it was important for him to get the information out there. And that's what he did. And it got him convicted. It got him convicted. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Yeah, he said he didn't do it, though. But it's, it's a coincidence, man. When your cellie start trying to drop a bomb on you. People getting themselves and then they want to start talking at night like they do to women to the cellie. start trying to vibe with the celly, telling them your personal experiences, things you've been through. And nobody's your friend, man. Nobody is your friend. And he learned the hard way on that. He embraced whoever his celly was, thought his celly was his boy, and the celly flipped on him. Which happens often. It's nothing new. People getting themselves with people, and they start telling everything to try to form a relationship like they about the street life. And talking about something like this was a bad mistake. If he told this celly that he did this, it was a bad mistake. So it's one of those situations. And I guess this is when he got indicted. Let me see. This is when he got indicted.
Of 4 people and an unborn baby in Cleveland's Mount Pleasant neighborhood. It's been more than 3.5 years, but police finally have someone in custody. Many wondered if there would ever be justice for those lives lost. Everywhere at 5, CNN New Yorker sat down with Cuyahoga County's prosecutor and has new details about this investigation.
It's a tragedy that shocked Northeast Ohio.
It's unspeakable what comes through here. This was one of the worst. All young people brutally slaughtered, all shot multiple times.
And left for dead more than 2 weeks in this abandoned home on East 144th Street near Kinsman back in September 2019. 23-year-old Christopher Monroe, 20-year-old DeJuan Willis, 19-year-old Ayanna Quitman, and 18-year-old Jasmine Lawson and her unborn child. For years, police asked for the public's help to find out who killed them, even putting up a $10,000 Crime Stoppers reward, their families praying for answers.
Please find answers. Please. You shouldn't have to see your child on a flyer. It shouldn't have to be a year later and you still don't have any answers.
Until now, Cleveland Homicide Initiative has arrested and charged 34-year-old Terrell Silver with 15 counts of aggravated murder and other charges. Prosecutor O'Malley says Silver shot the victims multiple times as they were laying down on 2 mattresses on the floor and left them for dead. He tells me investigators found DNA and gun evidence that links Silver to the crime.
We're beginning to seek justice on behalf of the victims of this horrendous crime, and I know it had a huge impact in that community, and I hope that that community can breathe a sigh of relief that law enforcement has not forgotten, and this man is going to be held accountable.
Yeah, that's deep. And they were all young, man. All of them were young. All of them. All of them were young. All of them were young. It's crazy though. If these brothers would be more humble on the street, and maybe if they was to turn Muslim on the street, they would look at things a little different. But a lot of brothers go to jail and they find religion, and you should be able to find religion on the street. If you want to find religion, find it on the street. Stop waiting to go to jail to find religion. It's like, oh man, they continue to do it. Like, find religion on the street, man. You know, me, myself, right? I would never go to jail and try to be a part of different religions just to, fit in. And a lot of people do that. And when they come home, they right back doing the same thing. The religion didn't mean nothing. It just meant something while they were in jail. And when they come home, they doing the same exact thing they did before they went to jail. But in jail, they was praying and they was talking about God. And then they come home and they forget all about it, man. And this is what a lot of jokers do. Some people change and find themselves, but a lot of people are just doing it to hope to get through the situation that they're in at the time. And when they come home, they never wear the kufi, they never pray, they're not involved in religion at all. But in jail, they really on top of it. They really want to abide by it. And, I think it's real fake, and it always comes out later. Because the act that you try to put on for other people, you can't uphold that act when you in the free world and that's really not you. And we got to be real. Because a lot of people be pumping, faking. Man. Yeah. But yeah. Let's see what we got going on here, man. Let's see what we got going on here.
It's official.
Let's see what they say.
Finds that the government has shown by clear and convincing evidence, so that's the standard, that no condition or combination of conditions.
Yeah. Let's see what they say here. Hold on.
Submitted by Combs and the government across all three bail hearings in this case. As you remember, Sean Combs was denied bail both by a magistrate judge and a district court judge. Judge Subramanian writes, the court finds that the government has shown by clear and convincing evidence, so that's the standard, that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. In support of this finding, the court provides the following reasons. Now, first, Judge Subramanian goes through the allegations in the indictment to show how serious this is. And it reads, the indictment charges Combs with serious and violent crimes. And by the way, we remember he's charged with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution.
To get that money.
Subramanian writes, it alleges that for decades, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. And it goes on further to talk about more of the allegations. Judge Subramanian writes, the government has presented direct evidence of Combs' violence. And what he cites is the 2016 videotape where Sean Combs is purportedly beating his ex-girlfriend Cassandra Ventura in a hotel hallway. This was published by CNN several months ago. This has been a big piece of evidence in this case. We've talked about it extensively. And remember, Cassandra Ventura is the one who initially filed that lawsuit against Sean Combs back in November of 2023, got the ball rolling with all the other lawsuits and also all the criminal charges. But he not only cites the 2016 video to show his propensity for violence, but text messages between Combs and victim one. Now, we believe victim one to be Cassandra Ventura. But it reads, text messages from the hours and days following the 2016 Intercontinental Hotel incident say, I have a black eye and a fat lip. You are sick for thinking it's okay to do what you've done. I still have crazy bruising. From there, Judge Subramanian also...
Hey, listen, if you think that you're going to have people around you to do what you want and you're able to disrespect them and treat them any type of way, you have to be prepared that they're going to turn on you. if you are that type of person, you have to be prepared that they are going to turn on you. They might do what you want in the moment because they need the money or they need you, but they will turn on you. And that's anywhere, anybody.
Also says there is evidence supporting a serious risk of witness tampering. For example, Combs initiated and had unexplained communications with witness 1, who was subpoenaed to testify before the grand jury in June 2024 and in fact testified on July 25th, 2024. Combs was represented by counsel during this time, and they have offered an explanation for some of these communications, but they could not explain them all. For instance, Combs' efforts to call and text witness 1 even after his grand jury testimony, or Combs deleted texts with this witness. That's bad, right? The idea of reaching out to a witness maybe before you knew they were a grand jury witness, that could be a problem. But really, after their grand jury testimony, that's a problem. From there, Judge Subramanian said,
Yeah, see, Diddy reaching out to the victims after they already done testified, it definitely made sure that he wasn't going to get out. And we watched Young Thug case, and, you know, a lot of people thought that he wasn't going to get out. So you really can't judge that from what we see, that he's not going to get out. But it just doesn't look good for him. And all the evidence against him, all the people against him, it's like it done polluted the whole entire world. Everybody's thinking that Diddy's guilty. So if he's not guilty, the world has already clarified him as guilty. So, and everybody done turned on him. And we already know that when somebody has this many witnesses against him testifying, it's going to hold weight to the jury. So I'm going to say like the same thing I said with Young Thug's case. Diddy is going to need a technicality to get out of this. It is going to have to be a technicality for Diddy to get out of this. And there's no other way. And that's real rap.
Says there is evidence that Combs violated Bureau of Prisons regulations during his pretrial detention to obscure his communications with third parties. We talked about this a lot, how Sean Combs was using other inmates' PAC numbers to make calls, was using a private messaging service to reach out to people, was also engaging in three-way phone calls. The allegation was he was not only breaking the rules, but he was also doing it to reach out to potential witnesses in the case, maybe to try to influence potential jurors through a social media campaign. Now, this is interesting because Judge Subramanian writes, the court makes no determination that the content of Combs' communications through these channels was improper. That's interesting. And this is something that he talked about in the hearing about, is it really bad he's posting things or having people post things for him on social media? So he's saying, I'm not really going to focus on the content of the communications, but, and this is something that we talked about in our prior sidebar, it was just the flouting of the rules that was the problem. He writes, however, his willingness to skirt BOP rules in a way that would make it more difficult for his communications to be monitored is strong evidence that the court cannot be reasonably assured as to the sufficiency of any conditions of release, especially given that they occurred when Combs was seeking bail and when he knew the government's concerns about witness tampering and obstruction were front and center. Yeah, really bad that he's doing this when he's already accused of obstruction and he's under the government's eye. But, and this is also interesting, you know another reason why the court was skeptical about Sean Combs being released? And, you know, Judge Subramanian at least kind of entertained what would bail look like, what would pretrial release look like. He went on a back and forth, and we'll talk about this in a minute, where Sean Combs' attorneys had said he has an apartment in New York, there will be private security. Well, here's what the court says. The court doubts the sufficiency of any conditions that place trust in Combs and individuals in his employ, like a private security detail, to follow those conditions. So, wow. So really seems swayed by the prosecution's argument that his private security team could probably be susceptible to manipulation. Now, this part is fascinating.
They're thinking about
there was a back and forth at the beginning of the hearing, and we're going to get into it in a little bit, where Judge Subramanian was asking Sean Combs' lawyers about a discrepancy. You might recall that there were materials that were photographed from Sean Combs' jail cell. and the allegation was by the defense, was that this was a violation of his privilege, that there were materials that were photographed that were subject to attorney-client and work product privilege. And the defense had said that there was a number of legal pads that said legal on top of them. And there was a discrepancy where the judge brought it up about whether these pads actually said legal. He writes, the court further notes that it held an emergency hearing to address the government's usage of notes on legal pads recovered from Combs' bunk. At that hearing, defense counsel advised all these legal pads say legal. Yes, they're marked as legal. After the hearing, the court inquired why, in light of counsel's representation that the notes at issue were on legal pads that were clearly marked as legal, photographs taken during the sweep show no such labels. At the hearing, defense counsel admitted that it has to be the case that as of the day of the search, legal wasn't written on every legal pad, and that they were not sure whether the pad presented to the court had legal on it at the time of the sweep. And Judge Subramanian writes, the circumstances of this incident and the misrepresentation made at the hearing where Combs was present bear on whether the court can be reasonably assured that any conditions it imposes will be followed, or whether through inadvertence or active subversion they will be broken and the community's safety threatened. Almost seems like the judge is saying, defense, can't trust you. And then finally, Judge Subramanian distinguishes Sean Combs' case from the Mike Jeffries case, the former Abercrombie & Fitch CEO who was just recently arrested on sex trafficking charges in New York. He's facing charges in federal court in the Eastern District of New York as opposed to the Southern District, but same thing. And the idea there was he was released on $10 million bail. Very similar allegations, sex trafficking. But this is what the judge writes. In United States v. Jeffries, while the government raised danger, its principal concern with respect to defendant Mike Jeffries was flight. He had no criminal history. The alleged criminal conduct, which did not involve the kind of violence or RICO allegations made here, racketeering allegations made here, abated nearly a decade ago, and Jeffries was 80 years old. So that's how he's distinguishing that case from Combs. And so ultimately, he denied Sean Combs bail. And right now, it seems that the only other option for Sean Combs will be to try to appeal this to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. They had originally appealed it up there, but they put it on pause so they could actually go back to Judge Subramanian, but now that has been defeated for them. Now, we actually did a full breakdown of the hearing from last week where the judge considered arguments from both sides. So let's play that for you right now. This could prove to be a very interesting week in the Sean Diddy Combs legal saga. Why? Is it possible Sean Combs could be released from jail right in time for Thanksgiving? It's a possibility. You know, I would have said that seemed highly unlikely, but after what we saw on Friday during the most recent bail hearing in front of Judge Arun Subramanian, the current judge of Combs' criminal case, a judge, by the way, who hasn't heard this bail issue before, it seems a lot more probable.
Man,
I'm going to explain.
So
Combs has been sitting in the Metropolitan Detention Center, the MDC, out in Brooklyn since his arrest in September. And of course, as you know, he's facing racketeering, sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution charges, namely that from 2008 to 2024, he used force, threats, coercion to cause women to engage in sexual activity, including sex acts with male sex workers. That's what's known as the freak-offs. That he operated a criminal enterprise that was engaged in all sorts of illicit activity and acts of violence like kidnapping and arson. Okay, we knew that. And now two previous judges, a district court judge and a magistrate judge, both previously denied Sean Combs bail, siding with the prosecution's arguments that Combs was a danger to society, given these allegations, that he was a risk of flight, given his wealth, power, and resources, that he engaged in potential obstruction by improperly contacting witnesses and victims in the case. And this, by the way, is despite the defense putting forth a very expansive bail package. $50 million bond, home confinement, no phone or internet use, 24/7 private security to monitor him, limits on who can visit him, and so forth. So a very expansive bail package, one that I really haven't seen. But leading into this hearing on Friday, again in front of Judge Arun Subramanian, who hasn't decided this issue yet because he was the most recent judge assigned to the case, prosecutors were also armed with more arguments, more evidence. Why? Because as we previously discussed on Sidebar, they alleged in a letter to the court that while behind bars at the MDC, Sean Combs has been violating the Bureau of Prisons rules. Now, by the way, that in and of itself could be used to show, hey, if he can't follow the rules while he's locked up inside, what makes you think he could be trusted on the outside? But putting that to the side, not only that, prosecutors say he has been engaging in unauthorized communications, such as three-way phone calls on a monitored phone, using other inmates' phone access codes to make phone calls, and using a third-party text messaging provider. And they alleged he was doing all of this to instruct third parties to reach out to witnesses and even try to influence a potential jury pool. And by the way, influencing a potential jury pool, that's with respect to the allegation that he orchestrated a social media campaign around his birthday. You might remember this. His family released a video of them wishing him a happy birthday, good wishes, while he's on the phone. He's on the other line. He's locked up, but you hear him on the other line. They're all happy. Everybody's happy. And prosecutors say the aim for that was to influence potential jurors. They have evidence to say that was his intent, that he might have said something. We'll get to that.
That was his birthday.
There are many, many other items for both the prosecution and defense regarding this bail issue, but the best way to go through all of this is to actually go through what was said during that hearing. Now, something I have to mention about going over.
Yeah, man, that was his birthday, so. Oh, man, yeah, we ain't going for that. Yeah. You know, this what happens when you the man, though. This is what happens when you the man. Let me see what they say here. Hold up. Yeah, that's what happens. Let me see. Hold on.
Never thought he'd spend the rest of his life behind bars. But for nearly 12 years, that's exactly where he found himself, falsely accused of a horrific crime he didn't commit. This is the story of a man who fought against a flawed system, a case full of lies, and a fatal fire that changed everything. His only hope? That someone, someday, would listen. Live-in boyfriend. Even boy.
Oh yeah, well, I ain't letting that one go. I got too much music on that one. Yeah, we ain't letting that one go. That one got too much music. Florida man gets testy. Interrogation over restaurant shootout.
There was an incident that took place last night. In order for me to talk to you about it, I gotta read you your Miranda warning, okay?
Why had to read my Miranda if I'm under arrest?
Because I don't know what you're gonna tell me. You can tell me that you murdered someone, you know what I mean? So I gotta read you your Miranda.
So can I call my lawyer and have my lawyer come down with it?
At this point, that's not how it's gonna work. No, so basically, I got stories from different people.
Alright.
I need to see what you're going to tell me.
Okay.
As far as your involvement, so that I can either piece it together and release you, or like I said, you tell me you fucking, you know, planting a bomb somewhere.
I didn't do nothing, bro. Like this is like you know, a lot of people get in police custody and they play the I didn't do anything. I ain't gonna lie. There's times I was in police custody and I did something. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I can do nothing, bro. Like this is it's just so crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to do it.
So like I said, in order for me to even hear anything like that,
yeah, go ahead.
I gotta read it. All right, you must understand the following rights before you're asking questions. So again, before I can ask you anything about what took place, because it was an incident where a crime occurred, I gotta read you this. You have the right to remain silent. You do not have to talk to me or answer any of my questions if you do not wish to do so. Do you understand that, right?
Yes.
So I'm gonna check them off at the end. You can just initial, okay?
If I have a question about that, can I ask right now or do I wait it there?
Well,
about the right.
Yo, what's the question?
If I don't answer no questions right now, if I say it right now, just be like, I don't want to talk to you guys, I'm going to jail, right? Like just off top, just because I just.
It depends. It depends.
Well, honestly, I really did nothing, so I don't mind talking to you. So
Yeah, so
I agree with that.
work with that. Okay, number two, should you talk to me, anything what you say may be introduced into evidence in court against you. You understand that, right?
Yes.
The first thing he should have said is, I want an
You're
attorney.
before being questioned, to have a lawyer present during questioning. Do you understand that, right?
Yes. Well, I just asked you if I got my lawyer.
I know. So it's just, do you understand these rights? So this is not saying that that's what's gonna happen. This is saying that I have to read it to you, and do you understand what I'm reading to you? Pretty much is what it's saying.
Okay.
Well, he did say he wanted his attorney
One
present, so.
will be provided for you at no cost if you want one. Do you understand that, right?
Yes.
Knowing these rights, are you now willing to answer my questions without having a lawyer present? You see how it ties in now? Knowing these rights, are you now willing to answer my questions without having a lawyer present?
If that's, I mean, if I can't have my lawyer present, because that's what it sounds like you're telling me, is that I can't have him.
It's very simple. Yeah, you talk to us now, or you don't want to talk to us.
I'll talk to you.
You know what
I'm just saying shit.
So it's either you
Should
know
I
your rights or you waive it. So you have the right
It's
to
up to you.
attorney. We can't tell you what to do. I can't give you
could
advice.
talk to us. I call my attorney, he'll come right now. Like he will come, he'll drop whatever he's doing and come right now.
That's not the way it's gonna work. We're gonna.
Well, he's telling him that he wants an attorney.
Yeah, go ahead.
McCraith is hesitant to talk, knowing that even though he wasn't involved, he might say something that could be misconstrued. The thought of having to spend the night in a cell is the deciding factor, and he chooses to speak to the detectives.
I don't even have time to sit around.
Okay. Okay. And then, is this statement signed of your own free will?
Never, ever talk to the police and try to explain yourself.
So, it's print, signature, the date, which is the first already, unfortunately, and then the time.
Print my name as subject?
Yeah.
And don't sign nothing.
Not suspect, remember?
Ever.
Suspect?
Nah, I said subject.
I know, but just explaining. Subject means that you're the person of this interview.
Yeah, I know there's no way I'm a suspect in this. I just want to go home. I just don't want to go to jail.
You're just 6/1 of 2021. And the time is 10:40 a.m.
What time?
10:40 a.m.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, never try to explain yourself in a room with two police
Our
officers.
probably doesn't even realize that we didn't even make it back to the crib.
Alright, so now we've done this. Tell me what happened last night, man. I know that you were at Prime 112. Who'd you go with to Prime 112?
I went with. Can I have one question? It's like whatever I say in the interview, like, is that gonna like?
Who the rapper?
Yeah, will it go out?
No, man. It's just for us.
Bro, I day-to-day manage Tory Lanez. You feel me? He has enough going on. Tory Lanez.
That is cool.
So this is Tory Lanez manager?
His big song was the you gotta do more than just say it. You gotta do, or he had the other one, the everyone falls in love sometime. So we were there. I flew in. We had a show last night in Dallas. We flew in today. I think. I don't even think that matters what time we flew. So we flew in. Boom. Went home, went to sleep. They woke up. They called me like, "Yo, let's go to Prime." I'm like, "All right, bet, let's go to Prime." Boom. We get to Prime now. The lady comes and gets us. The general manager. They take us to the upstairs to the private room.
Okay.
We're in there. Boom.
You guys inside already at this time?
Yeah, we're inside already. We're inside. When we got there, it wasn't any celebrities like that yet. Everyone started coming after. It was like everyone tried to catch the 10:30 reservation at the end before the kitchen closed, So we're all in there. Ordered some water, some drinks. And the reason why we get that private room is because they'll let us smoke, upstairs. They charge us like $1,000 for the room or some crazy shit. And they'll let you smoke, do whatever you're doing. It's private. You don't have to worry about fans making it up there. So we're up there and we're hanging out. We go out on the balcony in the front. Have you ever been to Prime 112?
Yeah.
When you're facing Prime 112, the top layer? Yeah. I'm standing on that.
On the balcony.
On the balcony. Gotcha. Which because they wanted us to sit at the table out there, but we didn't want everyone pulling up and then seeing us standing at the table. So we did the upstairs back room. So we were in there. We go out and we're back and forth, smoking on the balcony, going back in, talking to the girls, while I'm coming back out. And I have one more question, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys, bro. I really just don't want to go to jail, bro. I had nothing to do with this. If I give you the best of my, can I just please go home, bro? It's like I'm almost.
We're just gonna talk to you.
Bro.
I can't promise you anything.
Like, bro, I don't know.
Yeah, he's not smart at all.
Right? And the detectives that was asking us about that shit, right? Because I know that's what this is really about. That's why it's really blowing my mind that I'm really still in jail. Because I know you guys know that was over there somewhere, whatever happened with them. Because the original detective asked questions.
Let's keep going.
The original asked me about him already. Like, asked me, like, yo, did you see the other rapper? Did you see the rapper? Yo, bro, they pulled up. I'm talking to Tory, like, yo, bro, let's go downstairs and holler at him because we just did a record with him that we're having a problem clearing the record. Like, let's go talk to him about the situation because it was just a little mixed blood with us getting on before them. I think they might have paid us. That's irrelevant. We did something with them before, and now, like, I guess, like, they feel a little way, but we squashed it. We've been working together. So I'm like, yo, let's go save it up. And then Tory is so crazy, bro, because Tory's like, nah, bro, I don't want to talk to that nigga, bro. I don't like the way the nigga I'm straight. And we're sitting there trying to convince Tory to go downstairs and talk to him. And as we start convincing Tory to go downstairs and Tory's dubbing it, all you hear is.
McCreath shares the same reaction as Jonathan DeBaby Kirk, who was closer to the original shots.
Anyway, so they already, blah, whatever's going on over there, manager come with us. We boom, come walk around, we go into the side door. As soon as we get right into this corner, it's a damn security guard with me and everything. As soon as we get, like, right here, right before we get to the corner, pop, 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 pop. Multiple guns, oh,
pop, pop. I'm thinking it's a firework at first, but then I'm thinking, like, nah, it's too loud. Like, it's too loud, it sounds too close. Who's shooting a firework? Oh, I heard another one again. Now we duck down, everyone's ducking down. We're crawling on the floor, on the balcony. We open the door, I push my artist inside, bro, we're crawling on the floor. The other kid I work with, Jabbar, that you guys just released, he was saying, like, yo, let's just stay here in the private room and eat, bro.
Who's Jabbar?
He was here with us too. He was just released.
Like I said, I talked to the guy with the long hair.
With the braids.
Okay, gotcha.
I think you guys took him back to the bench. He was the driver.
Okay.
You feel me?
Okay.
So he met us there. Me and Tory, we drove in 2 separate cars. Now,
what type of car did you go?
I have a silver S550 Mercedes. I believe it's in 2018. If it's not an 18, it's a 17. If you go out there and check my back right window, I was in an accident around my birthday last year, and since I got the car back, I've been having a problem with manually putting up and down the window. So my Benz is the one that the window is down, and then Tory's car is in the shop, and he's driving a rental Mercedes as well, and his Mercedes is a silver as well. Mm-hmm. We left both the cars there because the valet was blocked. Like, I almost want to say it was the lieutenant that was here just now. I almost want to say it was him standing in front telling us that we couldn't get the keys, and Tory's telling him, like, yo, bro, I know you probably don't know who I am, but bro, I'm a celebrity and I really can't even be around this right now. I have my own situations going on. I just need to go. They was telling us we couldn't get the keys, we couldn't get the keys. Boom, we're like, all right. So we start walking now. Now they start putting up the yellow lines and shit, and we start walking. Mind you, my brother's walking, gotta be $180,000 in chains on his neck.
Who's that?
Tory, and we're walking down the street. We're walking, no security, no nothing, like just walking, because they're not letting us get the keys. So I think that's why they might have seen us moving around a lot. Again, that's because my brother's a celebrity. Even though you guys don't know who he is, I mean, we were taking pictures the whole time we were in there. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that was about. We were just trying to move fast and get him away from the restaurant. So now they put up the lines. I want to say we walked down 2nd and Ocean. That's Ocean that Paramount Toilets on, right? Yeah. So we walked down second towards, you know where the Big Pink is?
Yeah.
We walked around towards the Big Pink. By like a gift from God, we end up seeing another artist that's signed to Tory that lives here in Miami as well. We weren't even together. He just randomly was driving by. I waved him down.
Who's that guy?
His name's David. He's gone though. He wasn't even at Paramount Toilets.
What's his artist name?
Davo. Davo. Yeah, he wasn't even
He was not related to any of
Yeah, he wasn't at the
was he at the restaurant? No.
Nah, David wasn't even at the. It was just a coincidence that we're walking down the street and we see him by Big Pink driving, and he's like, "Yo, what happened?" And I'm telling him, I'm like, "Yo, some guys laid out on the street." He's like, "Oh shit, I knew somebody had to happen." I'm like, "Yo, bro, take Tory and take him, bro. We gonna try to figure out the situation with the car." And Tory had a female with him, so he got in the car.
The police are never happy when someone leaves the scene of the crime, even if that person isn't involved. They will have to be tracked down as potential witnesses at the very least, which takes extra time and manpower. I recently posted the deposition of Tupac Shakur.
Down Collins towards first, you know where Uncut is, and
yeah.
So we walk down there because.
So you go instead of going north, you go south.
Yeah, we're walking because the other kid too that was released, Kadeem's trying to get Tory's car out the valet. So he actually got the keys. The guy actually ended up giving Kadeem. The valet guy actually ended up giving Kadeem the keys. I didn't get my keys, but he gave him Tory's keys and was like, because he just realized, you know, Tory comes all the time. He just gave him the keys. He actually got in the car and started trying to drive away, and they blocked off the whole street, and he parked the car at the Dream Hotel. He valeted back at the Dream Hotel and jumped out. So he's not from here. He's from Toronto. So he's walking around not knowing where he's at. And I'm like, yo, what street are you on? So I walk down Collins now all the way to First and come back and get him. And then we walk back to the car. As we jump in the car, we drive away. Like, you know, and that's why it was just something we would have never seen coming, that we was getting pulled or nothing, because we was on the beach for a while, even after the thing, just trying to figure out the car and this and that. So now we get in the car, we drive, we make it to Fish Street. The bridge is looking crazy on Fish Street. We make the right on Alton. I told him to take the Venetian because we live downtown. Tory lives downtown, so I'm like, you'll take the Venetian down to 17th, and then you get off the beach like that. It's probably not mad people trying to do that yet. Bro, lights come on. We're all not even thinking we're even getting pulled over, bro. Jay's like, "There's a lot on us, right?" We don't. Yeah, all right. He stops for a second, and then we see all the lights come on, and we see all the cops getting out the car. But they're not like directly behind us. They're like a little distance behind us, so we're not thinking they're pulling us. So Jay almost started driving, and then I seen, how I knew is the cop that was in the first car jumped in the car quick when he seen the car moving. I'm like, no, stop the car. They're trying to pull us over. It's mad guns out. I'm like, stop the car. He stops the car, and then they start telling us like, yo, put your hands out the window, turn the car off, and open the front door, and open this door, and just got out. Got us.
All right. So just backing up a little bit, okay? Because I didn't want to interrupt when you were talking. So when the shooting first starts happening, you're still upstairs.
Yeah.
All right. There was a first shooting that you said?
It was like I couldn't count how many shots.
But it was
when they told us 60, I was like, what? I wanted to say 3, then maybe 6 the next time or something like that. But then again, I'm ducking. I'm looking up too because I'm curious. Because it's a celebrity standing down there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking too at the same time, like, oh, damn. But I'm ducking. We're all ducking under the tables and shit. And then there's like, it was like 3 shots or something, 3 or 4, and then it was like another extended bunch of shots, like bam, 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 bam. What I seen in between that, I seen the black. All right, after the first set of shooting, boom, we went inside now. You feel me? We went back in the restaurant.
No balcony, you go back inside.
Yeah, because the room we're eating at is right next to the balcony door. That's why they put us there. So we go back inside. Again, like I was saying, Jay saying, Tory saying, let's cut. Tory's like, let's go, bro. And then Jay's like, nah, let's not go. Let's stay here. Let's eat. Let's give them time for that to cool down, bro. We're like, all right. Now, it's a little delay between the two shots. It's not right back to back. Now, we come back out. You start seeing all the police is pulling up in the cruisers. But these is regular black and whites, like in the trucks, pulling up now. And then we see the guy laying on the floor. So we're like, yo, bro, the guy.
2 people were injured during the incident. One was released with minor injuries, but the second was permanently paralyzed.
Kill the guy. But the guy's kind of moving, so that's what we're looking at. Then I seen like a black Chrysler 300. It was a black Chrysler. I think it was a 300. See that shit? And it was like, it was in the front, and I see some people like around the car, and then I see I just heard a skirt, like the car trying to pull off, and when the car tried to pull off, one person jumped on the hood like this, like, hey, and then he turned the wheel, and the guy kind of flew back.
Who are you continue? Do you know who that person was?
In the black Chrysler?
No, the person that was trying to stop the car.
I'm not sure, bro.
You see
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I think it was the baby's kid, bro. I think it was the baby's kid. I'm not going to jail.
No, I'm just asking.
I think, bro, I think it was it was dumb. It's like, and then it's like we all work together in music, so I'm not even really trying to be out here dropping on his name.
Man, bro, I know
and
that.
It comes out,
Listen,
and it's
like nothing like that. I know you don't we're just trying to figure out what happened. You happen to be there. Obviously, we'd like to know if you recognize the person. He didn't do nothing wrong. He just put his hands on the car. You know what I'm saying? I think he almost got run over. By the way,
almost got ran over. Yeah, that's what caught my attention.
Right now, he's like a victim to us.
So he's like on the shit like this.
Who's that guy?
It was so quick. It wasn't. I want to say it's somebody. It was somebody with the baby.
Okay.
Like you think
possibly?
Possibly. It was somebody with the baby, bro. Okay. It was someone with the baby, bro. It was someone with the baby. Because for a matter of fact, they all jumped back in that black Escalade. I don't even know how the cops let them pull off, bro. Like I'm talking about the second shooting. It's police standing as close as the door.
Yeah, there's lights and sirens already there, right?
Yeah, there's police there already, bro. I can't even believe this. Like this is going on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm upstairs. I'm looking. I see the guy put his hands on the front of the car like that. It was just happening so fast. Like I don't know why he's trying to stop the Chrysler. I don't know why he's trying to stop the Chrysler. You know? I think they shot at the Chrysler. I think that's the second shooting.
What happens after when you see that Chrysler pulling off?
All right, when I see the Chrysler pulling off, all right, first it's like a skirt, and like he's still kind of on the car, and then the guy, he's wearing like a white tank top. He's wearing a white tank top or a white t-shirt. I think it was a white tank top. And he jumps back like off the shit like this kind of, and then all of a sudden it's like I was looking at where they were, but I don't think it was right there where the shooting was. I think the shooting was like a little bit to the right or something because then you started hearing it again. Bam, 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 bam. Bum, 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 and they're just shooting.
And you're on the balcony, right?
I'm on the balcony at this point. Most of my team already went back inside. I think now it's just me, Tory, and I don't know that guy's name, his real name, but we were all in the car together. He was wearing the white shirt, the guy who had all his stuff in the cap.
Okay.
He was on the balcony with me. It was me and him on the balcony. They shot it up. They shot the shit. They were shooting it up. Like me and him ducked down. Me and him was ducking down. They started shooting again. Then when I looked up, like I just don't want to, because it was kind of fast, bro, and it's something that I didn't see happen. But I want to say I seen the baby securities with their guns up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm positive that's what I see. I'm not trying to be a snitch. I'm not trying to be nothing. But in all reality, bro, I can't even.
You're not being a snitch.
I can't, bro. I can't even be involved in this. Like my life and my situation that I got going on right now, bro. Like I can't even be involved in this. Like, and I know that's why I got held here and all of that throughout all this shit because you guys see that I was already a convicted felon, and it's just like, yo, bro, I can't even be involved in this. I didn't have no gun, bro. I didn't shoot no gun. Like that's not even. Life's so good at this point right now. I'm not even like, you know, we're outside, no security. You know what I'm saying? Like life is good right now. Like. I don't even.
Did you see anybody shooting?
I didn't see any shooting. Like it was too much, bro. Cause you gotta remember, bro. As soon as the gun starts going off, I'm ducking. You know, so I'm ducking and I'm coming back up type shit. So.
From McCreath's vantage point, the shooting wouldn't have been immediately visible. It would have been impossible to see anything while he was trying to take cover.
Like, if you keep this off the record, bro, like honestly, the baby got 2 bodyguards that are twins, bro. And I see the niggas with guns in their hand, bro. All positive, I see the baby walk out. But the baby was in the restaurant now. They got rushed the baby in the restaurant. Now the baby's coming out. He has his backpack. I think he had a gun when he was coming out. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. All this time that y'all sat here and waited, made me wait 12 hours to talk to me, all this shit.
I don't remember.
Them niggas probably caught a jet and are out of here already. You know what I'm saying? These niggas is rich. Like, they probably, like, you know, if they had any kind of involvement in that, they're not even here. Like, just go try to look for them. If they're not here no more, then you know. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Did you see anybody else from the babies?
They all jumped in this black Escalade.
No, I'm asking you. You know them by name or by like nicknames and stuff? You know any other artists that you could see there? Besides
the only artist I've seen is the baby.
That's the only one.
Yeah, everyone sees the baby. I know I'm not the only person that told you that. Somebody at that restaurant.
Yeah, no.
That kid's going crazy right now. He's one of the biggest urban acts right now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He was a kid that we was on before him, and he blew by us. Like, you know, so that's what kind of the animosity is between us. He paid us for a feature a while ago. We had a problem clearing the record. So it's always been kind of weird with us, you know, but we have a new record coming out that's supposed to be big. We're having problems, his management, our management. So we're actually up there sitting there like, yo, let's go highlight that nigga. Like, let's go talk to him, bro.
Which is a good business idea.
Let's go talk to him. Like, I'm telling him, like, yo, let's go to him. My brother, bro, he's not on that, bro. He's like, man, fuck this nigga.
Hothead.
He's like, nah, now he's not hothead. He's just like, fuck this nigga, bro. Like, I'm more talented than this nigga. Now he's in a position that because he's a little bit hotter than me right now, because when they did this song originally, my brother was like one of the hottest niggas on the internet. I don't know if you know about the situation with him getting arrested.
No.
Yeah, so my brother was arrested on some crazy shit. That was another reason why he just needed that to be around him to hit. So after that, they just started moving funny, which is weird. And Tory doesn't like his manager because it's not even the baby, it's the manager. The manager, it's like say like you're black and white, you feel me? And there's a detective that's always giving you a problem. And then now you're bigger than the detective. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now you're just shitting on the day. Like, they're just moving weird, like, you know? Yeah. So as I'm sitting there, we're sitting there on the only reason we're not downstairs, right, when all the shootings going on is because Tory's saying, nah, I don't want to go talk to him.
Let me ask you something. Obviously, we're here to find out what happened. We're just ruling out any type of issue between you guys over there. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, bro.
Since you guys were upstairs, I understand that 100%. Okay, I believe you. My thing is, why would you leave in the middle of all this shit, bro?
Alright, well, it died down. Like, after the last part, it died down.
Gotcha.
And then, bro, the people in the restaurant running out the restaurant. I'm talking about waitresses is running, everyone's running. There's mayhem in the restaurant, bro. Like, I'm talking about, I know nobody paid for their food just now. Prime 112 lost wild money just now.
Fleeing the scene could be taken as a sign of guilt, but it is also a natural reaction when shots are being fired. Most people in the area were trying to distance themselves as much as possible.
You know what I'm saying? It's a mayhem. It's a mayhem, bro. And it's so crazy, bro, because, like, we didn't even want to leave, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's all types of people in the restaurant right now for business purposes, pleasure purposes, you know what I'm saying? We wasn't really trying to leave. But it's after the second shooting was so crazy that it was just like...
Did you guys finish eating or no?
Bro, no, we eat nothing.
Oh, you guys were waiting to eat.
Bro, we had just got there. We had just probably got there 20 minutes before he got there. Like, we just got there, bro. We just flew in from Dallas. Like, just came from Dallas earlier. We've been on the road for this whole memorial. Vegas, fucking Miami, back to LA, back to, like, just like all over. So niggas came home, we went to sleep on top. We came home, we went to sleep. I woke up literally, bro, at like 10 o'clock, bro. Like, woke up, my brother calling me like, yo, on the problem talk, you wanna go? Everyone left. I was just like, I was in the house by myself. All right, fuck it, I'm gonna go. Got up, I went to go fuck with him. And this shit happened, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't never coming back to the beach, bro. I ain't never coming back out here. There's too much out there every time.
So I just want to verify, man. So obviously we're gonna review tons of video because you know downstairs.
The one girl we was with had a video. I don't even know her. She was just some random girl. She was videotaping it. Like, you can like hear it. Like, But like, you know, the shootings and she's ducking and shit. But like, you hear the Chrysler stirred off. I'm not sure if it's the Chrysler they shot up. My friend said it was the Chrysler they shot up. They said it was, like, I ducked. You know what I'm saying? I started ducking and shit. So I'm coming up. But the Chrysler was still driving off. And then all the babies niggas, they jumped in that black Escalade right there. And they scared. I don't even know how y'all didn't stop it, bro. Like, I don't know how.
The babies group was apprehended a short distance away, and they were taken in for questioning.
All that happened and everyone just made it. Like the Chrysler, y'all didn't catch the Chrysler either? I just don't even. I'm talking as police right
No, we
there.
got everybody.
Oh.
We got everybody.
Oh.
Everybody we got, so you know.
Oh, so
you're not putting anybody out there. We got everybody, including you, that may have nothing to do with the incident.
So y'all got the baby?
Everybody's here, bro.
You got the baby right now?
Everybody's here. Everybody.
No, bro.
So let me ask you a question.
Yo, bro,
what's the deal with the gun in the car?
guys over here, bro?
Huh?
Let me go.
What's the deal with the gun in the car, man?
Bro, again, I drove there in my car. I'm not lying. We can go right now. I'll show you my car, bro. My car is the S-Class where the window is down. It's going to be down on the right rear because there's something wrong with my shit. I don't know why. I was actually supposed to go there today. I don't know why. I can't wind the window down. If I wind it down, I can't wind it back up. They got to put like a computer up to it and put it back up. And then they ordered me the new part and it's just still not going down. We're trying to figure out what it was. I wasn't in that. I'm only in that car, bro, because they wouldn't give me my keys to my valet. If they would have gave me my keys, bro, I've been learned that, like, I drive by myself, bro, or or with Tory. Otherwise, or with like Tory security. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. If it's not Tory security driving us, I drive myself.
Would there be any reason that the other people in the car would say that the gun is yours?
No, they could never say that. And if anyone says that, bro, it's like they could never even say that. They even, bro, don't even tell me they said no shit like that, bro. Cause there's no way they could even said that, bro. Like, no way. Like, it's too many ways we could verify that I didn't come there in that car, bro. My car's sitting outside in the parking lot right now. We pulled up two S-Classes, silver S-Classes, back to back. Tory shit a rental, my shit is my car. It's in my sister's name. I pulled up, we went in, they wouldn't let us leave. I begged them for my keys. So I begged them. Like, Tory's sitting there arguing. It gotta be a cop that's gonna remember Tory Lanez standing there with all them chains on begging for his keys. It's summer. We're standing there begging them for the keys, bro. That's the only reason I got in that car. The only reason I got in that car was because I couldn't get my keys. I drove there myself. Couldn't get my keys. Fuck, it was like, all right, bet. I thought about walking, bro. I was gonna start walking until I seen the cab. It was the Tory situation, getting Tory out of there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All that commotion on the y'all worrying about the shooting. A nigga could see that as a sweet lick. You know what I'm saying? Tory running around with all them chains on, sure. Anything, like, you know what I'm saying?
So
like,
there's no reason. Sit down, relax. There's no reason that anyone in the car, like I said. Do you know the people in the car well?
That's what I was about to say. How y'all let them get away, bro? Like, that shit was crazy.
But
beach?
So
who would do that on the beach?
Like I said, in the car, did you on a scale of 1 to 10, how well would you say you knew the people in the car? Like a 5, being halfway. You know the names of the people in that car that was where you guys got stopped.
I only know one person's name.
Who was that? Person was Javar Winter.
Javar Winter. That's all. I know Javar Winter.
What was he doing in the car?
Driving.
Gotcha.
It's his car.
Okay.
I know Javar Winter since 2014.
So there was a bunch of people in the car?
Yeah.
When you guys got stopped? Okay. What car was it again? I'm sorry.
A black S-Class.
Black S-Class.
That's what I think. Yeah, the same car as me. Just a little bit newer.
And the one, did anyone get in the car with you? Or was it, you got in the car on your own? You said you've been walking with someone, yeah. So
me and Jay walked up to the car, and then I got out the car and I walked back to go get Kadeem. Oh yeah, Kadeem. I know Kadeem too. Kadeem Brown. Kadeem. I think his last name's Brown. I'm not sure, but Kadeem.
Kadeem Brown, yeah.
Yeah, I know Kadeem very well too.
Okay.
Honestly, I know the other guy with the cap too. I just don't know his name. You know, you don't really ask people their first names.
Yeah.
So, like, I work with these guys. Like,
yeah, it's a simple question. You know,
lights. You know, just lights and stuff like that.
I missed the part where when you get in that car. Where was it? You said by Uncut.
No, I met Kadeem by Uncut, and me and Kadeem walked back toward Big Pink.
And they gave you the.
And then we were parked like right there by Big Pink. Javar didn't valet. Some reason Javar didn't valet. I'm not sure why. For some reason he didn't violate. And then we violated, and then that ended up being his.
Jovar is the guy with the long dress, right?
Braids. Yeah, I'm saying, so I didn't just test him.
Oh, we done trust me, man. We
got it.
Set you up, bro. There's a problem that you have, though. There's a problem that you have, which is not related to our case.
What's the problem?
When you got stopped, there was a gun with you. This is not our investigation. That was like as I stopped you, they found that on you, or like in the car next to you, or whatever. We don't know that part of it.
It was nowhere. I never seen the gun. They found the gun in the car.
That's what I'm asking. Is there any reason someone in the car would say that you had a gun or that you used a
They
gun?
could never even said that, bro. Like, if that's what you're trying to tell me, that that's what they said, then just tell me that they said that. They could know it, bro.
I want to verify all the statements that
I can verify. I know there's a way we can verify that I drove there, bro.
No, look, it's not. That's not. I don't doubt that you drove there, but this is. Let me be devil's advocate for you. Someone could be like, yeah, you drove here, but you had it on him. You know what I'm saying? So I think we're good for now. I'm gonna go.
You know the craziest part? I don't know why they so scared of that gun, because I'm pretty sure that gun got legally registered strap. Like, I'm pretty sure that's like.
What happens is a lot of these people.
And the crazy part, I'm the only one who can really get in trouble for the gun. Nobody else wants to admit that it's their gun, and I'm the only one who can really get in trouble for the gun. And the craziest part about that. So,
alright. Nothing else. Thank you for give me a few. I'm gonna review the other statements, and we'll be right back. Alright, man? Do you want any water?
You guys don't have to have that.
I got chips.
I don't even think I ate in the last 24 hours.
So let me get you some. I gotta go to the Chief up. That's how the Chief is.
With McCreath's habit of going off track, it is difficult.
Yeah, man. That's Tory Lanez's brother there talking to the police. Alright, that was Tory Lanez's brother talking to the police about a shooting that happened at Prime 112 with the baby in the building and Tory Lanez. And Tory seemed like a little hater that the baby went past him. And he said they were on before the baby, and the baby got on and went to the moon on him. So it seemed like Tory was hating on the baby in this conversation that his brother is saying. You never know. Tory said he ain't messing with the baby like that. You never know, man. Yeah, you never know. Yeah, you never know. What's this say? Yeah, you never know, man. You never know. Yeah, you never know.
On July 14th, though, when earlier in the day, Mia had been out shopping with her mom. Her parents say nothing was out of the ordinary. Then, at night, she left home with an unknown person. What's also important to note about Mia's case is that she was pregnant at the time of her disappearance. I spoke with Mia's parents, who told me this pregnancy was a surprise, but still a happy one that they supported. They say Mia was excited to be a mom too, even planning to name her future son Sebastian. On July 14th, when she was last seen, Mia was 38 weeks pregnant. So when she didn't return home, her parents started to worry. They used an app on her phone to track her down, leading them to the woods less than a mile from her family home. Mia's father found her lifeless body in the woods. Both she and her unborn son had been murdered. Here's Mia's father, Edward Campos.
Feel her hands, and she was already cold. So I was like, man, my baby's gone. You know, my first reaction is like, God, I put her in your hands. That was my first reaction, because I knew she was already gone. You know, and it was, I can imagine. I still got her picture when I found her. You know, and it hurts. You know, it was my baby. It was the last. I got 5, and she was the baby.
Did it go through your mind right away that Mia had been attacked or murdered, or did you think, oh, maybe there's some sort of medical issue here, that it wasn't foul play?
No, because when I saw her, I kind of knew that she got killed. I mean, you can tell right away, because Mia, that was nothing wrong with her. I mean, her health, it was 100%. That was nothing wrong with her. You know, so when I saw her, it's like, man, they killed my baby.
Investigators soon zeroed in on a suspect, 17-year-old Jesus Monroy, the father of Mia's baby. About this part, Mia's family is clear. Mia and Jesus were not dating. He only met her parents after Mia became pregnant. Jesus Monroy was arrested in the days after Mia's murder and initially charged with providing false statements to police about the case. Then, more than a week after Mia's death, Monroy was charged in her murder. He now faces charges of malice murder, felony murder, feticide, and aggravated assault. He was booked into the Gwinnett County Jail and held there for weeks until a judge made this ruling back in August.
I hereby grant bond in the amount of $50,000. The special conditions of bond include that he have a GPS ankle monitor in place within 24 hours of his release. He's to remain at his address, which is his home address, to be included in the order. And he's only to leave for medical appointments and appointments with his attorney. He's otherwise to be on site at the residence. He's got to have no contact whatsoever with any potential witnesses in this case. And the passport is to be surrendered to the district attorney before leaving court today.
Months after all this, Mia's autopsy results were finally made public, confirming her manner of death was in fact homicide. The autopsy noted her cause of death was asphyxia due to neck compression. This is really just a devastating case all around, but to break it down, we're joined by Georgia attorney Randy Kessler. Randy, thank you so much for coming on with us.
Always a pleasure to help you guys.
Now, this story, obviously a devastating one, but it happened way back in July. Why do you think it would have taken so many months for officials to come forward with a cause of death and the manner of death?
So, you know, as a lawyer, I'm not really surprised. There are cases that take years, right? I mean, John Benet Ramsey took forever. There are cases that take a while. You don't want to prosecute until you can win. So they were looking for other evidence, maybe corroboration. They didn't want to go public with what they have, so that if a witness came, they weren't worried, oh yeah, he read it online or heard about the evidence some other way. So I'm sure they were gathering their evidence. And in the scheme of things, it's not that long, given our judicial system, right? We hear horror stories about years and years. So I'm really not that shocked, but I think they wanted to, you know, tie up all loose ends, wrap it in a nice gift box and present it to the judge for probable cause and move forward.
And we did kind of have a heads up that it was going to be manner of death murder because someone was charged with murder in this case. We didn't for sure know how she died, but now we do, that it was suffocation. To me, that is so devastating to hear about, but also intimate. I mean, if you think about suffocation, that takes a lot of physical exertion. You're very close with the person. I mean, it almost takes it to another level rather than just shooting them from far away. What do you feel about all that?
I think that's 100% right. It makes it more despicable, more horrendous. But in some way, I think it should bring some relief to the family. It's a little bit easier to prove murder, right? If it was a blow to the head while she fell or something hit her or it was a car accident or something like that, fell down some stairs. But suffocation, that's pretty intentional. You can't really suffocate yourself unless you hang yourself, and there's no evidence of that. So to some degree, as terrible as it is, we look at it as a lawyer, I look at it, what's easier to convince a jury of murder? That or something that has an alternate explanation? There are very few alternate explanations for strangulation.
Hey, so I'm going to take a guess and say a lot of you who kind of got her parents worried. They tracked her cell phone and then they found her in the woods somewhat near her home. To me, that screams consciousness of guilt, and I'll tell you why. Because they're in the woods. This is a hidden area. This is not, the front lawn or right in the middle of the street. This is a place where the killer went to hide their crime. Do you agree with that?
1,000%. I mean, if it's the exact opposite of bringing somebody to the hospital or calling 911 or taking steps to try to save someone's life, it absolutely is. You're trying to cover it up. I don't know that the prosecution needs that because they have the evidence of strangulation. But, and also, like we always talk about, you don't need motive, but everyone's going to jump to the conclusion this guy was a 20-year-old that, had sex with a 16-year-old. He wasn't ready for a child or didn't want to be accused of rape or whatever it was. There's all these other reasons why people would believe that he murdered her. But this is just one more. You're absolutely right. Hiding the body in a distant place to delay the finding of the body or maybe make it inevitable that it might never be found. Obviously, he didn't hide it hard enough or far enough away. And thankfully, he didn't.
You talked about motive, and that's something I want to circle in on now. The defendant in this case is Jesus Monroy, and what prosecutors are saying is that he killed Mia Campos because she was pregnant with his child. Again, you pointed out we don't need motive in order to have a conviction, but is this a win for the prosecution? If they're going to talk to jurors, I mean, this would be a pretty big motive.
Right. I mean, jurors are human beings, and they're going to sit in the room, and the judge and the jury and the judge and the prosecutor and the defense can all say, we don't have to prove motive. All we have to prove is that it was done. But when they go back to the room, they're always going to ask why, just like we're asking why. And so it's nice for the prosecution to have an easy answer for that, which is he didn't want to have a child. He didn't want to have a child with an underage woman. He was too young to have a child. He didn't want to pay child support. There are a whole bunch of stupid reasons, but they're reasons better than a stranger encountering a stranger. It gives the jury a little bit more reason to say, yeah, we believe he did this.
Something that has always stood out with me about this case is in the days after Mia was found murdered, I spoke with her father. This is when Jesus Monroy had been arrested and charged with her murder. He told me that Jesus actually helped him in the search for Mia. So he was there around the woods where her body was found. To me, that's almost eerie that he was helping in the search party for this person that he allegedly killed.
Right, but assuming that you and me are rational, normal people, it's hard for us to envision being in that position and doing something like that. But maybe he's trying to cover up, and what if he says, no, I don't want to go look for the body? Maybe that's more suspicious. So I'm sure he was just worried about being a suspect and trying to avoid suspicion than he was about concern for her. And, maybe when he's there, he can try to sidetrack them and say, no, don't look over there. There's nothing over there. I've been over there. I've looked over there. I don't see it. So it's eerie, but it's not surprising.
This case is heartbreaking in the fact that Mia was only 16 years old, very young girl. She had her whole life ahead of her. So that unto itself is devastating. But then there's the additional fact that she was 38 weeks pregnant, almost ready to give birth. And that leads into the two charges, homicide, obviously, for Mia, and then feticide for her unborn child. Can you explain that a bit to me, the charge of feticide?
Right. It's almost like murder. And one day we may consider it murder of a human being. And there's this, the whole movement and the whole country is talking about, when does life begin? And a lot of people believe that life had already begun for that fetus. And it's almost like a second murder charge. But almost more importantly, it gets the jury even angrier, right? People are angry about a 16-year-old. That's terrible enough. But a child who never had a chance, if they had needed any more reason to go ahead and jump to, I'm not really positive he did it, but I want to find somebody to blame, it helps the prosecution. It's not the right legal analysis, but, passion and anger help a prosecution.
We haven't heard much about what the prosecution has in their back pocket in terms of whether there's security camera video of Jesus Monroy near the woods or if there's DNA evidence. We don't have any information about what that would be. What do you think the prosecutors would hope to have when they're bringing this charge?
Well, they'd hope to have that. It's my understanding they have some of the texts and screenshots from the victim that she was somewhat apprehensive or nervous. So that's a start. But I'd imagine they'd have some corroboration that he was in the same place as her, or the phone location, or some messages, or he doesn't have a good alibi, or his alibi doesn't check out. They've got stuff. I'm sure they have something. And I'd be shocked if there wasn't a plea just before right on the eve of trial. If he knows he's going down and he's going to be away forever, I don't know what kind of plea he'd be offered, but I'm sure the prosecution has technology and has some sort of extra evidence besides what you and I know.
You know, it's interesting talking about the plea and all that, getting into the future of the court proceedings. He's pleaded not guilty, and he's actually been released on bond. To me, this was somewhat shocking. I know some states don't even offer bond when a person is charged with murder. What do you make of his release?
Well, I have to put my faith in the judge. This is a very good judge who's been on the bench a while and knows what she's doing. I wasn't there. I don't know why the bond was given. I don't know why it wouldn't have been given. But yes, to me, we're all scared, because what if he is a murderer and he runs away and doesn't come to the trial? She ordered that he have an ankle bracelet and an ankle monitor, and I'm sure they'll be monitoring him. But on the other side, right, we're innocent until proven guilty. It's what this country was founded on. And why should a person who is innocent, not yet proven guilty, be sitting in jail for a long time waiting to be able to prove their innocence? We don't have to prove our innocence. The state has to prove our guilt. So apparently the judge felt comfortable that he was not a flight risk, that they could find him, and that he would reappear for trial. And I have to defer to the trial judge, who heard all the facts and circumstances and made a decision.
You're good to remind us, innocent until proven guilty. It's the basis of our legal system, but sometimes we hear all of this information. We're heartbroken for the loss of this 16-year-old and this unborn baby, that we start thinking, oh, it has to be him. But he has maintained his innocence. He's pleaded not guilty. What sort of defense do you think he would then bring?
Well, I think the defense has a real problem, and I think their focus has to be, everybody wants to find an answer, and everybody's pointing the finger at him because he's the natural first choice. He was a young man, didn't want a young child. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? That means they didn't even look anywhere else. And I'm sure they're going to attack the investigation. Where else did they search? Who else did they question? They didn't look anywhere else. And when you're looking for somebody to be the person, well, the facts sort of fill themselves in. If you have a blank slate and you have an open mind, maybe they would have found other leads. I hope for the defense's sake, they have some other questions and some other thoughts that might point to somebody else, maybe somebody else who had a motivation, somebody else who didn't like this defendant and wanted to frame him. But right now, it looks like the defense doesn't have very much.
You had talked about the potential for a plea deal. I'm going to question you a bit more on this. Do you think it would end with a plea deal, or it would actually end up at jury trial?
You know, any kind of plea he's going to get is going to put him away for a long, long, long time. I think he's going to take his chances because there was no eyewitness. Nobody saw him do it. There was no murder weapon. So far, as far as I can tell, there's not enough proof to guarantee a victory for the prosecution. You know, if he takes a plea, it'd be one thing if they say, turn state's evidence and explain that somebody else did it and show some evidence that somebody else did it. That's one thing. Or for him to just say, I did it, can you cut a couple of years off my sentence, versus the chance of getting out of jail scot-free with a not guilty and an acquittal. I don't think there's going to be a plea. I just can't see what the prosecution could offer him that would be so appealing to him that he'd say, okay, I'll spend 30 years.
Yeah, I don't see it either. What would he take a plea to? And he killed the girl, allegedly. She was 16 and pregnant with his child. And you never know. You never know. Yeah, you never know. Yeah, she was 16.
I see Johnny Smith. How did this become so big?
On case F24-21236, data seeking no further action.
Okay, you
No, we'll be withdrawing the PVA in all of his cases.
How long has this guy been sitting in there? Is there anything else holding him?
Except for the probation violation thing.
Which they're withdrawing. Release, make sure he gets released today, please.
So all 3 cases, right?
Correct.
Apparently. Is there anything I need to sign? Any stay away? Angel Pena?
On case F-24-22548, state filed consolidated information charging this defendant as the A co-defendant with 1 count of burglary of an unoccupied conveyance, a 3rd-degree felony.
We'll stand on our written pleadings.
A little confused. Are we talking about F-22-0296?
No, Your Honor, I believe he's been bounced out of PTI for that case, and now he has a new case where we filed an information.
And it's gonna be what? F-20 what?
F-24-22548A as an alpha.
Give it to me again. What are you charging?
1 count of burglary of an unoccupied conveyance, a 3rd-degree felony.
Standing by your written pleading?
Yes, Your Honor.
Entering a plea of not guilty, set for a court rate plea, then trial on both cases.
12-10-213-224.
Thank you.
May I also have on page 18A, Deshaun Davis. I believe next of kin, Miss Rossi is on Zoom. This was a reset from Friday.
Right.
So that he could be arraigned on the indictment.
Right.
Good morning, Your Honor. Anne Marie Harris Block on behalf of Mr. Davis, who's present before the court.
Morning, Mr. Davis. And who do we have online? Ms. Rossi?
Correct. She is the victim's mother.
Good morning, Ms. Rossi. I'm sorry to meet you under these circumstances. Ma'am, come off of mute, please.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'd also like to acknowledge the fact that Isabella Urena, who's also a victim, is online as well.
She's the victim of one of the attempted murder charges.
Yes.
Good morning, ma'am. Is there an indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
The grand jury returned an indictment for 1 count of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder. The
Your Honor.
state filed its notice of intent to seek the death penalty on Friday.
Your Honor, will enter a plea of not guilty to the
Death penalty?
indictment, and there's just one quick issue to address as well. I know that there was a part of the court file that the state amended. I think it was maybe their own inter-office memo, but because it was part of the court file, I have an objection to just changing things that were part of the court file. If the state wishes to make an amendment, I would ask that they do it appropriately through the court.
Are we talking about the inter-office memorandum to the supervisor of intakes from Christina Diamond?
Yes.
Yes, Your
but
Honor.
It appears it was part of the court file. And I just happened to be sitting there watching it being amended subsequent to it being part of the court file, which is my objection.
I'll file a new one, Judge. It's just for the clerk's purposes.
I know. File a new one today with today's date.
I will.
So,
And Your Honor, also just for
yeah,
clarification, Mr. Davis has advised me that he is in the process of hiring private counsel. He intends to do so by December 6th, which I believe it's either the 6th or the 8th, the next time we're on calendar. That was on calendar before the indictment was filed. So I would ask that we keep that date. I will be present, and Mr. Davis believes his new counsel will be entering their appearance by then or at that date.
right. However, I think you're gonna need to act as though you're going to be representing him.
Understood. I've spoken with Mr. Davis. He's made his desires for my involvement clear, but he understands now. And between now and that time, it is his belief that he will have private counsel. If not, I understand what the court is saying. I totally do. And I get it. And I will be proceeding with the court's understanding in mind as well.
Well, I do understand, but I also understand that the time is ticking. And
As does Mr. Davis. We've had that conversation.
Mr. Davis, you're hiring private counsel? Have you had an opportunity to speak with whomever that is that you wish to hire? And they're going to be filing a notice of appearance in this case? Okay. You're going to have a second chair assigned?
Yes, Your Honor. I don't know if that will be done by December 6th, but yes.
Why don't we do the following? Why don't we set it, you're entering a plea at this time,
Yes,
of
Your
not
Honor.
guilty to the indictment.
And we had already, through the information that was filed, demanded discovery, so that will remain as well.
That's fine. So why don't we set this for report? When did you say your counsel will be appearing, sir?
We already have that set, Judge.
So fine.
He does have a co-defendant printing in Judge Susan's division. The co-defendant did not go to the grand jury at the same time as this case because he wasn't in our custody yet. I passed up an order to have that case brought over to this division. That case will be going to the grand jury either the first week of December or the first week of January.
Would the state be able to provide me with the name of the co-defendant?
Yes,
Because we're
it's
gonna need-
Francois Guervy.
Francois?
Guervy,
Okay.
and the case number is F24-19396.
And
Is
I'll,
that how this goes?
Since it's an indictment, it's gonna take time to sign that, we'll bring it over now.
And that's the proper, I want to make sure that the proper,
Yes, Judge.
okay. So I will have Mr. Francois, is that his first name?
That is his last name.
I'll have Mr. Francois transferred over to my division so the cases can be tried either together or at the same time.
and Judge, I'll take a look at any potential conflict as well.
Very well. We'll see you all on 12/6 then.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor. Happy Thanksgiving.
The same to you. Ma'am, we're gonna reset this, ladies, on this case, we're gonna reset this till the 6th. We'll see you then.
Yeah, man. It's your boy DZ, man. Y'all already know, man. I appreciate everybody that watches the channel. Appreciate everybody that subscribes to the channel. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and share this video. It's your boy DZ, man. You already know. It's not about the setback. It's about the get back. Nah.